everybody, this is Cheri from DJ Sundries, and I am so glad to be back and doing a video again. Kind of have a temporary setup because we haven't done a permanent setup since we moved, but it seems to be working right now, so I'm just going to hop right in and tell you what's going on. So I was recently inspired by Christina Werner's Capsule paper crafting list. I know she did this back in, I think it was 2020. Then she recently redid it for her vacation so that she had a travel capsule. And so I took kind of the hints from some of the old videos, some of the new videos, and I went to her website and downloaded the list of her capsule paper crafting, and I made one modification, kind of like what she did in her current, and by current, this is 2022. So I made one modification that she's using in that one. I didn't do a lot of other modifications. I pretty much stuck to the old list. Now there's one thing I did different, but we will talk about that when I get to it. So the first thing I did is I had to find something for my capsule. Now I cannot get this all on camera, so at the end I will take a picture of it all filled. But this is just a nice plastic box from IKEA, and everything for my capsule paper crafting is going to fit into there. And then what my plan is over the next month is to set a goal to do at least one project using just the items in this paper crafting capsule. So let's just jump in and I will show you what I'm using, and I will load my box at the same time. So we're going to start with the cardstock and the paper. Now the first thing that's listed is white smooth 110 pound or greater paper. Or thicker. I found some paper. Again, part of me really wants to do use up paper that I have, and when I was going through the other day, I found this old Paper Tray Ink Basics cardstock, and I don't know its exact weight, but it feels like it's probably at least 110 pounds. It may even be 120 pounds. It's very heavyweight. So that's the paper that I chose. There's probably only about, I don't know, 15 or 20 pieces at most in there. So I also ran across this plastic, it doesn't have a name. I'm pretty sure it's probably Nina Solarite, but I'm not 100% sure. It is the thicker. It feels like it's probably the 110, but I just have those because, again, want to use up, well, bad focus, want to use up what I've got and not, you know, be able to clean out some of that old paper that I have. The next thing on the list is for black smooth 100 pound or greater. Now unfortunately I do not have any black smooth 110. This feels like it's more like 60 pound. I know we're not getting a great, it's blurring a little bit there. So I'm going to use it for now. We'll see. I may end up purchasing some heavier to go in here. But if I can make do with that, which I think I probably can, I probably will use it and again use it up. For my watercolor paper, I did decide I was going to use my Tim Holtz Watercolor Distress cardstock because it's smooth on one side and or smoother on one side, and then a little bit textured on the other side, and I thought that would give me the most versatility. So those were the three main papers. Now the next thing on her list is masking paper, and I currently don't have any masking paper. However, there's been a few times lately that I really wished I had some masking paper, so I went ahead and ordered some, and that will go in here when it gets in. Now when we move to the inks, this is where my biggest modification comes. So I'm going to share with you how I'm modifying and the reason why. But the first thing in here is a black waterproof ink. So I pulled out my VersaFine black onyx ink for the black waterproof ink, and then embossing ink, I pulled out my Versamark pad as well. So I'll just set those aside and not put them in. And then it says to use dye ink mini cubes of various colors. Now I don't have that many dye ink mini cubes, with the exception of my archivals, which I don't think will be great for blending. And then I have, probably 15, maybe 15 distress mini cubes. Not a lot. And also I'm not sure how well that those could be used for stamping if I wanted a fine image. So since I don't, and the purpose is to be using stuff that we haven't used in a long time and using up things, I pulled out old Close to My Heart inks. Now, this is taking up quite a bit of room in my capsule, but I chose a good color variety of Close to My Heart inks, and I chose, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So in her travel pack, Christina used 24 mini cubes. So I've got 21 regular size cubes just because that is what is going to work for me, because I just have a better variety, more colors that I can actually use. I have just so few mini cubes. That would be it for the ink part. Now when we come to color mediums, I pulled this cup that I have from a wedding. Hang on just one second. And that's where I'm going to be storing a lot of my pencils and things. So I pulled out just a random 24 Prismacolors. I have a 72 pack, and I did just pull out 24. We'll see if I chose the right 24 or not. That will be interesting to see. As far as a basic set of watercolors, I went back and forth on this. What's basic, what's not? Now I think basic would be, you know, your praying and those kind of, but also basic, you could maybe use your American Crafts or Prismacolors. But I went ahead and just pulled my Gansai Tambi large set, just because I didn't want to be limited to the small set. So I did pull out a regular size set of watercolors for that. And then white wash was an optional thing, and I actually did pull some white wash out so that I could have my white wash. So I'm going to just empty this little packet here so that we can fill it as we go. So moving on to adhesives, tape runner, liquid glue, and 3D foam tape or squares. So I don't have it on camera here, but for my, I'll pull it over here. So for that, I pulled out my big old ATG gun, because this is what I use most of the time, and that's just because I like to use the smaller ones, the smaller tape runners, like if I'm doing travel crafting or working in my planners, and not sitting at my desk, just because from a cost-effective perspective, I would rather use the ATG and get the bigger bang for my buck. So that's what I chose that for. Now, when I was in the hotel, I hadn't packed a lot of foam tape, and if I had packed any at all, I ran out while I was in the hotel, so we did pick up some smaller ones. So rather than pulling out my big roll of foam tape, I just pulled out some of those from when I was living in the hotel. And then the liquid glue that I chose was my Gina K Connect, just because this is my favorite liquid glue. And in fact, I ordered some more because this one's probably not even half full, and that glue goes pretty quickly. But it does such a fabulous job that I use those. Now, when we're talking about tools, there were several tools that she recommended. I do not have a MISTI. That's the first. She also said, or various acrylic blocks. I just pulled out my Tim Holtz stamp platform. So that will go in my box, nice and neat. And then a paper trimmer. Now, I have a huge number of paper trimmers, but in the spirit of the capsule crafting, I'm just going to use my Fiskars slide cutter for this project. And then a T-square ruler. I do have the Simon Says Stamp T-square ruler, which you can't really see behind the paper, but I've got that ready to go in my little cup. A scoreboard. I decided I'm going to just use the small scoreboard. So I have the big one, but again, trying to keep everything in one place. I'm going to use the small one and set that aside. And then a bone folder. Now, she recommends a Teflon bone folder. I finally broke down and bought one. I haven't even taken it out of the package yet to use it, but that's the bone folder that I will be using. And then 4 blender brushes. So I actually happen to have 5 that I pulled out. I pulled this small purple one from Simon Says Stamp, and then I've got 4 larger ones from Simon Says Stamp. These are the only Simon Says Stamp ones that I have, and if you watch her travel video, she used 5 as well, but that gives me 2 different sizes and then the 5 different brushes. Blue painter's tape, just a good old faithful standby, just normal blue paper or painter's tape, and then a hardboard. Now this is what I use for a hardboard, and I just have several of them. I picked them up at the Dollar Tree many years ago. It's like a mini whiteboard. It's about 12 by 12. I can't even get it all on camera frame. It's about a 12 by 12, and that's what I use for my hardboards when I am watercoloring. So I did pull one of those. And then watercolor brushes in 2, 4, 8, and 10. So I pulled out my 2, 4, 8, and 10. That'll go right in my little pencil cup there. And then a white gel pen. So I pulled out my Sakura number 10. And a black waterproof pen. I decided to go with my Micron 0.5 or 0.5 micron. I believe these are waterproof. They're archival ink, so we're going to say that they are. And then paper towels just sit near my desk all the time anyway. Now the next thing on the list, oh, I skipped over, white embossing powder. I don't even know what brand of embossing powder I have, but I guess it's Ranger. And I'm getting kind of low, but I'll have enough for this project because a little goes a long way. I did not pull a powder tool out, but I will be adding that even though it's not on the list. In fact, I'm going to just put that right on the list right now while I'm thinking about it so I don't forget later. Powder tool. And then, well, there's my pencil. So a pencil, and then it calls for a pencil sharpener. I had to do some digging to find a pencil sharpener, and my colored pencils show that I really need to use a pencil sharpener. But I did finally find one that I had, and I don't know what I did with it right now, but I do have a pencil sharpener. Oh, here it is. This is just one that I've had for a while, probably back from when my kids were even in school. It is a little electric battery powered one. That's what I'm going to use for my pencil sharpener. I've got my embossing gun. I'm not going to show you that. Now it says a stamp chamois, tidy towel, or baby wipes. Now I always have baby wipes on my desk, but I did go ahead and order a stamp chamois, so when it comes I will have one. And then drawing gum or masking fluid. I don't know how much I will use it, but I did pull it out just in case, and I guess that'll make me remember to use it. And then I've got my little eraser, so that all fits nicely in that little container. And then the seasonal list. These are the things that are the fun things. So what did I pull out for stamps and such? So the first stamp is a stamp set with smaller greetings. So I went back into my old close to my heart stamps, and this stamp set, this is Finding the Words for Occasions, and it's got a little bit, a few that are larger, but most of them are really small, and it kind of is all occasion. So this will work great for this project. And then I have, the next one says a stamp set with larger greetings, and this is a stamp set that I bought a few months ago and I haven't even used yet. And so this is from Simon Says, and it had some large ones, and I thought this would be perfect for this challenge. And then it says a background stamp, generic for many occasions. Now I don't have a lot of background stamps, but I thought this one was really kind of fun. I've used it a few times. Actually, I've used it mostly with heat embossing and watercolors, but I thought this one would be really fun to do something with, and I'm sure I can do something summery with that. And then it says stamp set with outlined images for coloring, such as animals. So I went digging, and this is the one I chose. Again, it reminded me of summer with the fun ice cream bus and some popsicles and ice cream and the little dog there. I just thought that would be really fun. I think I can come up with some cute things with that. and then a stamp set with floral images. And that's when I pulled out my one of my newest stamp sets, the new Tim Holtz Floral Elements. And I debated, do I want this or do I want a bouquet? But I thought, nope, this is what I want to go with because it gives me a good variety that I can play with. And then finally, London Bridge is falling down over here. So finally, the last one is a stamp set with solid shapes. Again, I went back into old, close to my heart. This one actually does have dies with it. So if I end up using the dies, then this is the one set of dies I put in there, but I pulled it not for the dies, I pulled it for these solid images of the dragonfly and the little ladybug and the 2 butterflies. I thought that would be fun for solid color stamping. And so then the last bit is stencils. So the first thing on there is a generic repeating pattern. So I thought, you know, I really want to use this new one from Tim Holtz. Let's set that aside so you can see it. So this is a repeating pattern. This is the THS 159, and I thought that one is the one of the 3 new ones that I bought that I really wanted to use the most, and I think it'll go great with the stamps and colors that I chose. And then there was one just for an image stencil, and you could actually choose 2 of these. So the first one that I chose is my old favorite, and this with these flowers. You can see it's well used and well loved, THS 077. And then the second one I chose also is floral. Yeah, there's a lot of floral going on here. THS 143, and this is one that I bought a while back and haven't even used yet. So I can't wait to try that. Now the last thing, that was the last section on the original printed list. But as I mentioned in watching her videos, she's mentioned that she added sequins. And I thought, you know what, I do want a little bit of pizzazz. So I pulled out these old sequins that I used. And in the spirit of using up older stuff, I think I chose everything that I had was the oldest of the things that I had. So these clear. And then I had these left over for my Close to My Heart Day. So I've got some from the Prickly Pear collection, Coral Reef, different gold in this pack. This is Oceanside, so it's got some teals and greens and those kinds, and then some white. So that is what I put together for my capsule crafting. Again, at the end, I'll show you a picture with all of it stuck nicely in the box. And then that box fits perfectly in the top of my Rock Scud cart. The only thing that won't be in it, once I get the last couple things I've ordered, will be my paper towels, and it'll just sit on the side of my desk. So I hope that inspires you. Come back and see what we create with it. And thanks so much for stopping by today. And remember, take some time to enjoy the little things. Have a great day. Bye.